Hello YouTube audience. Today I would like to work on this tree. It is a Kanjiro Pink Camellia. It's going to flower in the fall, and there is a photo of the flower. It looks pink. The foliage is dark green, and you can see these flower buds here. So for me, I ultimately want to turn this into a bonsai, and the reason I select this tree is for the size of this tree. It gets pretty big, like Nabari there, and it bifurcate at pretty low, so it's naturally a twin trunk tree, and it got some nice movement on this trunk too. So it goes like this here and go here, and we can go this way later. I don't like this big branch, is too big, and the taper from here to here is almost no taper, but it tapers nicely here. So ultimately I may need to cut off this branch, but since this is very close to winter and it's going to flower pretty soon, so I'm just going to do some very mild trimming, and just to get rid of some small things. If there are big branches I need to remove, I will remove it in the spring after it flowers. This way, because foliage reduction will reduce the winter hardness of the tree. So very close to winter, I would not trim too much. So this is some very basic trimming here. Let's see if I can put this here and take a look. So because the base is very wide on this angle and it bifurcates, so the front would likely be somewhere here. So once you decide the front, we will see what is clouding the front, which is there are some very small branches come out, which is not necessary. It's also crossing the front, this branch, and here you got 3 branches come out of one place. Here 3 branches, so these 2 branches are pretty good, so I'm going to remove the back branch, all these tiny branches that come out too low, and maybe this branch that's crossing the front. Okay. Now, first remove all these small branches. They are too low. So photosynthetic. It's probably don't have much photosynthetic efficiency because it's so low and it will not receive a lot of sunshine. So I'm just going to cut them flush. I'm using a concave cutter which is going to cut the branch slightly into the trunk, so that when it heals completely, like seamlessly. All these tiny things we need to get rid of, so that we can see the front very well. So this branch is very low, and it come out at a place where there is already two trunks, so it's over time it would create an invert taper. It in fact already developed a little bit, but after I remove this, it's not going to affect the tree much. And also because the branch is so low, it will not receive much sunshine, so it's not going to develop very well. Go in, remove it first. You can see a lot of foliage, but yep, it's going to make the tree looks better. And also this tiny one, I don't need it. A little bit more. This way it should heal very well. Okay, so now this trunk looks very clean. So these branches, they are crowding the front, but let's see. Although they're crowding the front, I can easily wire them sideways so that they're not going to be a big problem. This one looks very good. Okay. This one is crossing into the center of the tree. Overall, ultimately we would want the tree to fan out on this direction, so but it's not affecting much, and it's not like three branches coming out from one place, so it's fine at this point. Later in the spring, because this is a long branch and also have several flower buds on it, I will leave it. In the spring, I probably shorten this branch significantly. So let's see. So all these little branch that's crossing towards the center of the tree, and it's also right under the cover by the top of the foliage. So I'm let's see. So this side branch is crossing into the center of the tree, and it's under a lot of foliage, so it's not going to develop very well. So I'm just going to remove this tiny branch. Okay, this I can wire it aside, so it will not be a big problem. This I can wire it aside, it will not be a big problem. This would ultimately be shortened. And here is also a very tiny branch that's going to the wrong direction, going to the center of the tree. So I'm going to remove this. Okay, that's fine. And when we come up to the side, the branch are very beautifully come out. These are all okay. This is going to the wrong direction, going backward. So it's not going to be favored. I'm just going to remove some branch. I can use this branch cutter to remove some branches that's going inward to the tree itself. It's not going to have a good future in terms of its development, because there's no way for this branch to go, and it's also under a lot of foliage. So not an important branch, going to the wrong direction, just remove it. Doesn't have a lot of leaves, so it's not going to contribute a lot to the energy of the tree. Big branch, I will wait until the spring to remove, but small branches I can clean right now. This branch probably ultimately need to be removed. This branch is okay, but it's going too upward, so later I'm probably going to shorten this branch to maybe here, but I'm not going to do it right now. This whole branch I'm going to remove later. This whole branch, this branch I'm going to remove later. So now I will just let it flower and let it produce food for the tree. So I'm not going to move this branch, not going to put a lot of work into it. But ultimately, this is the branch I'm going to develop. So I'm just going to, currently this branch, which I will later remove, is dominating. is dominating because it's the highest branch. It's going to dominate. So in reality, I would like to develop this branch later. I'm just going to remove some of the top growing branches from this dominating branch. Not going to remove the flowers, but I'm just going to remove these so that doesn't take too much energy. Just remove a little bit. I will not remove too much foliage at this time in the winter, because the foliage help to generate sugar, which keep the plant from freezing. So I'm just going to remove some of the tips, but not going to remove too much foliage. Okay. Yes, so this is the branch I'm trying to develop. Which is the branch I'm trying to remove, this one. So I remove some of the tips. Hopefully it can redirect some of the energy towards the lower branches. Okay, so this is that. This is this. Here, I'm going to remove this. Okay, all the tips I'm going to remove. I'm still leaving the flower buds. I want to see the flower in the fall. So this is the trunk line I would like to develop later. This whole branch is going to be removed. Then, if that's the case, it's okay to analyze it a little bit better. This is tapering well. Plenty of branches coming out from one spot. 3 to 4 branches coming out from here. So I could remove one. I'm going to remove this one in the back here. I think this line in the back is what I'm going to develop. Very dense foliage. When I remove this branch, it's not going to be that dense anymore, so it would be much easier to work with. Okay, I think that's about it on this side. And I would like to look at this side. I think this is the main trunk line I want to develop. So this branch, in the future, it could be much shorter. Front, there is a branch I can wire. The back branch is good, going to the correct direction, going outward, not going inward. So that would be fine. There is a branch that's damaged, so I'm just going to remove it. small branch that's going inward. It's going nowhere. Going to remove. This tiny branch is also going nowhere. Remove. Okay. All these are okay for now. So if this is the branch I'm going to develop in the future, this two, it's a twin trunk tree, so this two trunk is not going to be in the same height. Ultimately, I'm probably going to shorten the whole thing significantly. So while I'm not going to remove a lot of foliage at this time, I may think about what I may think about is where to remove it from. This whole branch is not going to be very tall. Let's see. This is not going to be the major branch. So I'm also going to remove some of the tips, growing tips that's not important. Remove, remove, remove. Looks good. This is a back branch, it's not crossing the front, so it's okay to leave this one. So this thing go this way. The trunk is very straight going this way, so in the end it's possible that I would remove all this big branch next year in the spring. I may keep this trunk and kind of I may cut it somewhere here and let it develop from there. But for now, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to do a tiny amount of wiring to wire these out. But in the end, I'm really only seeing two that's crossing the front. I'm just going to wire this too. And it would be good for now. So first, I would like to see which wire can hold this branch. This wire is too small, it cannot hold the branch. I may need to try this wire. Let's see. This wire, I think it's okay. This wire is fine. We can hold this branch with the wire. So Naya is having fun with the tree. They like the trees. They also like to eat the trees. I'm not sure exactly. Well, you're not eating the tree at this point. In the future, when the tree gets very rigorous, has a lot of branches, it's not a big deal for the cat to get some of the foliage because it's going to help it grow more. But the other thing is I don't know whether the tree is good for the cat or not, so I'm probably not going to let them eat the tree. Okay. How about this branch? Oh, this cannot hold that branch. So I'm just going to cut a small section using the wire cutter. So this is the wire cutter. Cut the wire like tofu. Going to wire two of the branches together. Back branch is not, I'm not going to change the position of the back branch a lot because it's in the right position. I'm probably going to simply wire this branch and change the direction a little bit. Very basic wiring. Just change the direction a little bit. Okay, so that it's not blocking the trunk. Right now, the rest of it I will not worry. Yeah, this is pretty good for now. Do not need to change too much. The direction is good, and also I will wire this to the side a little bit so it's not blocking the front. This is too stiff to wire, so just going to wire this. Probably need to use a larger gate wire. Just need to cut a little bit. Do not need a lot. This is not detailed wiring. It's just so let's see. I can touch the branch with the wire. If it holds, that means this wire is good for the branch. If the wire got bent by the branch, it's not going to hold the branch. So this should be good. So for this, I'm just going to use this branch to anchor. So I'm not going to be fussy about it. There may be a little branch I need to remove here. Okay. I'm not going to bend this this branch, so I'm just using it to anchor. The back branch is fine. Just want to hold it tight. Okay, so wire it on there, and now I can just position it a little bit sideways. This is a broad leaf tree, so a lot of the times the branch actually get up, so I'm not worried about bending it down too much right now. So then that's pretty much done. In the future though, because these two branches coming so close, like almost horizontal at the same place from each other, so in the future I may remove one of the branches, one of the two, and depends on which one develop better, but at this point I will leave them. So this is the tree. We will see how it goes in the future. Yeah.